Hey, how's it going and welcome to The Guitar Effect. My name's Rob. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Hotone British Invasion Nano Head. But before we do, I'd ask you to please like and subscribe. So here is the British Invasion Nano Head. It is a, I think, 5 watt, although I think it's immaterial because however loud it is, it's not loud enough to keep up with a drummer, but 5 watts or something like that. Home amplifier head that you can plug into any cabinet that's 4 to 16 ohms. So what this effectively is a really handy solution for an AC30 style amp in a box. And before I go into talking about it, let's have a listen to it. So, as you can see, or hear and hopefully agree, I think this little thing is a brilliant solution if you want AC30 tones. And we're not talking super authentic, 1960s AC30 replacement stuff here. We're talking, decent amp on a budget at home. I picked this up second hand for €70 in my local music store. No, it was brand new actually. It wasn't even second hand. It was €70 brand new. The guy who owns the store, a friend of mine, did me a deal. And they have many of these, right? They have like a Soldano one, a Friedman one. A lot of them are very high gain, a Marshall one, a Boogie one, and they're all based around the same principle. So it's one channel, like an AC30 would be. I suppose you could say that just a top boost and normal channel. One channel, it has 3-band EQ, gain and volume. Really, really simple. I go through demonstrating how they change the sound. The mid control is quite powerful actually, adds gain. And then on the back, and this is where it gets really cool, right? So you have your speaker output, and then you have an effects loop, which on an amp this size, for this price, I think they're about €100 new, is really amazing. And then you have an auxiliary in that if you want to jam, you want to plug your phone into this and jam along the tracks on your phone, you can do that. And then a headphone / line out, and then a power jack, right? It takes 18 volts. I don't know what milliampage. It takes 18 volts anyway, but you could, in theory, put this on your pedal board. I don't know why you would though, because it's loud, but I mean, you could play like accompanying a singer-songwriter in a cafe or something like that with it. But past that, if there was a drummer involved, you wouldn't, even with a 4x12 cab, I don't think you would be playing a gig with this. I don't think it's what it's intended for, but what's amazing is that line output on the back, just plugged directly into the input of my audio interface, is just a really usable sound. And if you've kids playing at home at night with any noise at all, not low noise like a 5 watt amp or something like that, but no noise is the only thing that really, every video I make is completely silent. So amps that provide silent solutions to me are really useful, and I really wanted to get an AC kind of style amp as an alternative to my Koch Studio Tone 20, which is my main recording amp. And I just think this is brilliant. So I've gone through the features. it's pretty well built. I haven't had any problems with it, like the power cutting in or anything in or out, anything like that. All the connections work really well. I've been pretty impressed with it so far. The knobs feel really positive and has a little cool mini analog style switch here. So yeah, I think particularly where this shines is bright, jangly, indie-ish guitar tones for me. I think this does that really, really well with a Strat or a Tele, or even if you can find a Les Paul that has a bit of top end to it. It just does those tones really, really well. So let's have a listen. Okay, so as is always the case, I'm going to start with the clean sounds. When I say clean sounds, really this amplifier is at its best when the gain is above a quarter. It can be it's kind of sterile. I'll demonstrate that in a minute if it's super clean. But if you have it, I mean, it really is pretty clean there. Just to go through my setup quickly, I'm using the British Invasion in the 4-cable method with the HX effects. I have the preamp of the British Invasion in a loop, and I have a Timmy, a Kinky Boost, a harmonic tremolo, a vintage digital delay, a transistor tape delay, and a spring/glitz reverb, all running both some in front and some after on the HX effects, and I'll be using them at different times throughout the demo. I'm going to go through humbucker tones with my Tele, and in a while I'll plug in a Strat. Okay, so as I said, as you can see here, I have the gain at about, I suppose, a third, and the master volume is 2/3, and here's what it sounds like. And neck pickup. It's got a little bit of crunch to it, but I can wind that back a little bit. And the volume knob when it's completely clean. So that's kind of how I would set it for clean tones. Then I could add a boost. So that's the Kinky Boost off the HX effects, and it takes it really well. You can hear the reverb coming there, and it's in the effects loop of the amp. And then the boost for kind of push clean sounds. I think you're starting to get into that real, I don't even know how to describe it. There's a certain mid-range and top end that Vox style amps have that just loves the back pickup of a Telecaster, in this case a wide range humbucker. Really loves it with a boost pedal. Especially for those open chord kind of things. Then I can add a more heavy drive pedal. Now, in this particular instance, I have a bass cut on the drive pedal in question, because for the track I was using it, I wanted to take some of the bottom end out. It's just a gorgeous, like, indie rock. I suppose more American indie rock, although with that drive pedal on. Sorry. always mess that up. So I think it does, just using the cleanish setting on the amp, I think it does like slightly dirty sounds. Roll it back for slightly more clean sounds, or play lighter, and then it does kind of boosted clean sounds, and it does drive sounds, and then heavy lead sounds. Does all those sounds really well, I think. So what I'm going to do now is leave the pedals off and go over and just change the amp settings. As you can see, I have the treble boosted, the bass on a bit and the mid back a bit, which is I'll just show you what the EQ does and go through the gain range as well. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is leave the settings as they are, but roll the gain here up quite high and bring the volume back a little bit. And you get this sound. And you still can boost that to get quite a high gain sound. Still a really nice sound, I think. And you can bring the gain up full then, and a bit more volume. I will say these pickups are not the highest output humbuckers that there are, but I still think it's a gorgeous sound. Roll the volume back a bit. So, I think identifying exactly what a Vox sound is something that's actually kind of eluded me for years. Seems like every time I play through a Vox amp, and I've never played through an old one, I've only ever played through the CC reissue ones, like an AC15 or an AC30. I've never played through an older AC30, like a Korg AC30 or an actual 60s one. I tell a lie, I did play through a 60s A15 when I was about 25, but I can't remember anything from back then anyway. I think this to me is pretty indicative of what I would understand to be a Voxy sound. So it has that protruding mid-range and like quite a sparkly top end. Again, not the biggest Queen fan, but I mean, for a €70 amplifier running through the headphone output into a, by the way, that's how I'm doing it. I'm just taking the headphone output at the back of the amp, which is also like the recording line out, and plugging it into the just one of the inputs on the front of my Focusrite Scarlett interface. It's pretty amazing recording guitar. Apologies for my noisy volume now. So I'll just go through the EQ and show you what it does. So I just went to demo the EQ, and the mid control is so powerful that when I rolled it up, it completely overloaded the input of my amp. So what I'm going to do is just try that again. I'm going to roll the volume back a bit, roll the mids up more. Maybe even give it a bit more mid. Or roll some of them out. You get a real scoop sound. It's an effect if you wanted to have an effect on a particular track, but I would never use that sound. So as you can see, the mid sound really does add extra voxness in my opinion. Especially at those higher gain settings. that's just the amp. There's no overdrive pedal on there at all. Great sound. So if I then roll the bass in more, it'll get more bassy. And again, I can roll the bass out. Again, usable as an effect should you want to do that. So I'm just going to bring the bass back to just slightly backed off, and then the treble control. So you've been hearing it all with the treble control by boosted. If I roll the treble back, it's just literally sounds like I'm rolling the tone off my guitar. And the treble up full. Still somewhat of a usable sound. Yeah, it's a great little amplifier. So you need to treble around there, bring the gain back to maybe midway and the volume back up. Yeah, something like that. Let's do a kick tune. So what I'm going to do now is run through a couple of different effects using them in the effects loop, just to show you the effects loop works really well. So here is a tape echo. Okay, and then a more modulated digital, vintage digital echo. Works pretty well. With a bit of drive from the pedal, the Timmy pedal in front. Just to show that it still works well if I use the drive off the amp, because I'm using the effects loop, so I can wind that up, wind that back. Works really well. So I'm just going to bring the gain back slightly and bring the volume back in. And then the tremolo. That's in front of the preamp of the Hotone. And then just to show you as well, I'm going to switch over to the really big lush reverb for a second now and bring it in. Add the transistor tape delay in for atmospheric stuff. And that's purely using the overdrive from the amplifier, so with the pedal in front. So you can see that because the effects loop is effective, pardon the pun, it positions everything correctly, and I can use gain off the amp and the delays don't get in the way and stuff. So if you wanted to be able to have the amp slightly driven and still be able to use some big delay and reverb sounds, the effects loop works really well for being able to do that. So I'm just going to give you a blast of some single coils. This is my parts caster that I built maybe 2 years ago. It's like an old 80s Korean sonic body with a parts neck, and it's got Squire Silver Series Japanese single coils neck. Amp loves single coil pickups. So here it is with some drive. It's a boost pedal or on the neck pickup. Bluesy thing quite well, I think. And then for a lead tone, amp handles that really well with 2 pedals. And then so the last thing I'll just demonstrate really quickly is a bit of the edges kind of tones that he would use, because he uses an AC30 and a Strat in the 80s anyway. A Strat on the out of phase back position, so. The amp does an admirable job of that tone as well. There you go, folks. My review of the Hotone British Invasion Nano Legacy series amplifier head. So again, another snappy name, but basically the Hotone British Invasion. If you're looking for, I can't play it here, but you can put it through a 112 cab and totally have it loud enough to play really enjoyably at home. Like I mentioned, I picked it up in a shop new on sale for €70. I think you can pick them up for about €100. I think if you're looking for AC tones on a budget, this is a really surprising and impressive piece of kit. A lot of the Hotone stuff is quite good, actually. I think they're like a less entry level, but still quite novel Chinese brand. And I've been impressed by the stuff I've had. I had a Fuzz pedal of theirs once, such as this tiny little thing that was really, really good. So yeah, if you're looking for AC tones at home, direct or mic through a cab or just playing at home, jamming for the crack, it's great. And like I said, it has an aux in as well that you can plug your iPad in or your iPhone and play along with tracks. And I think it's just a really well spec'd out piece of really super cheap kit, and I highly recommend it. So thanks for watching. Leave a comment, let me know what you thought. Let me know what you thought of the tones, and please like and subscribe if you did make it this far in the video. That's amazing. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video again soon. Cheers. Bye bye.